Hi, my name's Dominic Brown. I'm the editor of Highways Magazine. I'd like to welcome you all to Cold Comfort Digital Academy. This is a new platform we're launching this year. As everyone will be aware or can imagine, unfortunately COVID-19 for obvious reasons meant we couldn't hold the physical Cold Comfort and Cold Comfort Scotland events this year. But we didn't want to leave it a year until we saw you all again, until we brought the winter service and the extreme weather resilience professionals together, because as we know, this is an industry where the decisions can mean life and death, where learning something new can save a life. And as I've been told by many people, whenever you visit Cold Comfort, you do learn something new. And as this industry is rapidly developing and there are new things to learn, we wanted to bring them out to you in the best way we could, as soon as we could. So we're launching the Cold Comfort Digital Academy. It starts on Monday the 21st of September. These are short videos, much like this one, that get dropped 1 or 2 a day, every day that week. And so hopefully it will bring people together and teach people something, bring about, deliver new best practice learning and start debates. Now, I've got to introduce Craig Donovan, a man who's done most of the work behind all of this and interviewed many of the people for these videos. He's the head of highways and transport at Hemming, which means he's my boss, and he's relatively new to the sector, but I think he's already made some very good friends and some very good contacts across local authorities and Highways England. So, hi Craig, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Dom, and God, too kind with that intro. We're a team, and I'm a firm believer that we came up with this idea together. It certainly wasn't me alone. But yeah, Cold Comfort Digital Academy. I was, as we all were, devastated. A lot of work. Yourself, Dom, the rest of the editorial team put a lot of work into the content for both our Cold Comfort physical events that would have been in the spring earlier this year. And, it was a real shame to, as you say, box it up, wait a year and do it next year. And, Cold Comfort's been around for 30 years. And to not do anything at all in an entire year just seems, we as organisers have a duty to provide, content for each of the sectors we work in, and Cold Comfort and the winter service sector is very dear to all of our hearts. So I wanted to, we wanted to find a way using the tools that we've got and the incredible content to choose a selection of content that we had already prepared for the physical events and find a way of distributing that, to the sector in some way. So what came up was, as you mentioned, Cold Comfort Digital Academy. And what we wanted to do was just provide something that was new, innovative, short, sharp, relevant videos for the community in the winter service throughout the UK to learn best practice and guidance.
They're all going to be a bit like this video, aren't they? They're kind of interviewed as we invite an expert to come and talk to either yourself or myself, and then we kind of ask a few questions, maybe see a few of their PowerPoints, but it won't be, we promise everyone, it's not going to be death by PowerPoint. It's not going to be kind of droning webinar. This is going to be a bit more like a TED Talk. We're meeting the experts. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and I wanted to bring that. We wanted to bring the humanity part. These guys, these people, experts doesn't do them justice. They've lived and breathed this sector. They know what they're talking about. And I didn't want PowerPoint getting in the way. And yeah, there are a few of them. We need some graphical representation of what they're saying, so it's understood. But we've got some embedded videos even that we're talking through in some of the talks as well, so it's not just two people having a chat. So there is a bit of engagement, but I didn't want to get these very influential and these people that we've asked to speak to get lost in a PowerPoint. And it's more about them speaking off the cuff around a subject that really matters to them and the sector. And I'm hoping the viewer will see a nice fresh look of how a digital academy could work.
There's something, we're piloting it this year, but I think that idea of bringing you real expertise and technical detail, but in a easy to watch, easy to share kind of format, that's got real potential. I know I was really excited to speak to Carol Valentine, who is a grandee of this sector, deputy chair of the National Winter Service Research Group, of course, one of the managers at Kent County Council. And she spoke to me about the planning chapter of the Winter Guide, which is the supplementary to the Statutory Code of Practice. This is the NWSRG's Guide to Winter Service. Lots of chapters have been released already. Many people in the sector will be familiar with that, but the planning chapters only just come out. So we had a real good talk about that, and I think it's an excellent document, very easy to digest, much easier than Appendix H, with really practical help. You've got graphs, you've got risk matrices, you've got tick boxes, you've got checklists, but it gives you everything you need to prepare for the winter service season, apart from, of course, cold comfort, which is obviously a vital part of your preparation, which is why we're doing the Digital Academy in lieu of the physical event. Now, Craig, I know you spoke to one of the people, I would say one of the most popular people in the sector, Richard Hayes, big man with a big personality and a very good friend, firm friend of Highways Magazine. Now, you spoke to Richard for 2 videos, is that right? You did 2 talks.
Yeah, when I was speaking to Richard about how we could adapt some of the points that he wanted to talk about in the physical events into a more digital way, he had 2 key points, that are 2 key topics that he wanted to, and actually, rather than merge them together into one longer video, it made sense to split them into 2 separate, because they're very different topics. One specifically is on severe weather, and actually more about not the science behind climate change and severe weather, more to do with the engineering and how engineering has had to change and will need to change in the reactive and proactive maintenance regimes with regarding extreme weather. Now, I know we focus on winter, and that's where the majority of extreme weather we tend to experience in a country, in this country, but he actually expands that further. It's all extreme weather, from flooding to extreme heat to extreme cold, and then winter and snow and ice. And actually just thinking about how local authorities could actually rethink a little bit of how their maintenance works with regards to their road networks, and what maintenance programs are in place. Maybe what you were doing 10, 15 years ago is not necessarily relevant in today's climate, and perhaps look at different ways to check it. I don't want to steal his thunder too much by going into too much detail now, but he as an engineer, he's speaking with first-hand experience of some of these. He has a few examples as he will talk through.
Right, so this is a winter service in the age of climate change and adapting to more extreme weather, as 1 in 100 events become 1 in every 10 years or so. And a really important topic. We've had a blazingly warm summer, and it's those shifts from one extreme to another that can cause dangers in themselves. So that sounds really, really fascinating. So the second talk.
The second talk is actually winter service in a modern world, or a modern age. And actually, rather than the touching on the engineering, but actually more about the liability in, the road network, and the use of the roads is changing. It was changing anyway, but, COVID and the pandemic has actually reevaluated even further, even deeper, even faster than we had ever thought of. New cycleways, will existing and previous ways to maintain roads through a winter be the same if the roads are being used for cycleways? Thinner tires. We're in a liability world of insurance and suing and who's to blame. How does that affect in a winter service in the modern world? How does that affect a how is it different from a motorist that could have an accident that has car insurance to a cyclist that's using a cycleway with no form of insurance? How does that work? How does that relate to a local authority and actually a lot of food for thought for a local authority to consider when they're maintaining the roads throughout a winter period based on the changes of the roads. So two very different topics, and again, I don't want to steal his thunder by giving away too much, because he's some really great information he's got in there.
Okay. Now we also have our colleagues from Scotland speaking, and we have a meteorologist. Is that correct, Craig? So we don't want to give too much away, but we've got a few predictions for the winter season coming.
We can't have a winter academy that's dropping a few weeks before the winter season kind of officially starts without a bit of a prediction. So yes, we've taken the we're very lucky to have an expert in meteorology and forecasting that's going to do a brief overview of last year's winter, regionally split, because we appreciate there are differences, of what actually happened scientifically, and actually their expectations of what's happened since then, which leads on to their very, and I have to be clear, they are just predictions and forecasts, but they provide consultations for various organizations throughout the world, so they're very, very comfortable with predictions, and perhaps maybe as we go through the winter we may invite them to come do some updated forecasts throughout, but certainly week of the 21st it will be their initial predictions of the winter season ahead, regionally split.
Okay, brilliant. So a packed and fascinating program from the NWSRG to Transport Scotland, talking about contracts and talking about technical innovations, to Richard Hayes there talking about climate change in the age of litigation and the risk-based approach for different users, and of course lots more content, including a little prediction about what the future might hold from a meteorologist. This is our first Cold Comfort Digital Academy. It's a pilot Cold Comfort Digital Academy, but we want everyone to get involved so that this can become a strong part of the winter service community. We think it's got real value and could be really helpful, even to people outside of the sector, to find out a bit more about the important work you all do. So please come along, find out more information on the Cold Comfort website, but do come along and try and look out for the videos to support us. If you want to get involved in Cold Comfort in any other way, if you want to be a speaker, if you want to be a delegate next year, if you want to help support us with sponsorship, or you want to have a stand at the event, please get in contact. Our sales team are just waiting to hear from you. You can speak to myself or Craig or anyone Highways Magazine, and we're all happy to help, and we'd love to see you all there next year in the flesh, and see you on the other side of the webcam from Monday the 21st of September for the first Cold Comfort Digital Academy.